Hey, what's up guys? Taylor here. Welcome back for a new video. If this is your first time visiting the channel, consider subscribing because I love new subscribers and I love sharing my information and whatnot with people just like you. And the more you guys share, interact with this content, like, comment, etc., the YouTube algorithm pushes it out to more people just like you so others can find it and be educated just as yourself. But anyways guys, for those who are subscribers, I really appreciate it. And for those who are watching and press that notification bell and who are consistent viewers, subscribers, commenters, supporters, etc., I really appreciate all of your love and support as always. But with that being said guys, let's talk about the topic of today. And again, this is something that everyone wants to know about, whether you are just joining the military or whether you're currently serving in the military, etc. And that is pay, money, dinero. How does pay in the military work? How much am I going to get paid being in the military? How often am I going to get paid being in the military? And the one question that everyone wants to know always is, how do I get paid more in the military? So that's what we're going to cover today. And again, I say military because military encompasses every single branch: Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Space Force, Coast Guard, whatever. It's not branch by branch. A lot of people think that certain branches get paid more than other branches, and that's just not true. That is false. If somebody is telling you that, they are lying, because the DoD or Department of Defense uses a pay chart or a pay scale for the entire military to base your pay off of. So again, I've heard it before 1,000 times. The Air Force gets paid more than the Marines get paid the least, etc. And that's just BS. So I wanted to clear that up real quick before I continue so the comments aren't blowing up saying, but my recruiter said the Air Force gets paid more and yada yada yada. The way pay in the military works is based off your rank, okay? So there are two different pay charts. Well, technically there's three different pay charts in the military. You have your enlisted pay chart, you have your commissioned officer pay chart, then you have your warrant officer pay chart. So there's three different pay charts in the military. And again, the way it works is your enlisted goes from E1 to E9, your officer pay chart goes from O1 to O10, and your warrant officer pay chart goes from W1 to W5. Now, the higher the number, or in this instance, the higher the rank you are, the more you're going to get paid. And that's just a given, no matter if you're in the military or if you're like a civilian. The higher you go up in that business, that corporation, the military, the more you're going to get paid. But the difference is, here in the military, the longer you're in the military as a whole, the more you're going to get paid overall, regardless of your rank. But also, being in that specific rank, the longer you're in that rank over time, you're going to get continuous annual or every 2-year pay increases until you reach that pay cap. And when I say pay cap, what I mean is every rank, so E1 through E9, O1 through O10, and W1 through W5 has a pay cap, meaning you can't be an E1 and like be in the military for 20 years. It just doesn't work like that. And let's say you were, hypothetically, which it's not even a thing, but just for example, after you reach like year 5 or year 3, your pay isn't going to increase over time. Whereas for me, right, for example, I'm a gunnery sergeant. I've been in for 14 years. Me being a gunnery sergeant at 14 years gets paid more than a gunnery sergeant who's been in for only 12 years. But a gunnery sergeant who's been in for 16 years gets paid more than me. But we are all the same rank, right? We're all E7s, but the one who's been in this rank longer or in the military longer is going to get paid more than the one who has been in the military or this rank for a shorter amount of time. But again, that is only good until you reach a cap. Like, you can't be an E7 at 30 years and continue getting paid, or pay increases, I should say. The only way to increase that is to get a promotion to the next rank, and then your pay is going to increase, and then it's going to continue to increase over time. Now, in your lower ranks, your E1 through your E5, they're on the pay scale, it has like under 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and then it goes 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 in increments up to all the way to 40. So once you hit 6 years, every 2 years in that rank, you're going to get another a pay bump, basically. So since I just hit 14 years, right, we're going in increments of 2. 12 years, I got paid a certain amount. Year 13, my pay was the same, but now that I just hit 14 years, I got a couple $100 pay bump, even though I'm the same rank. Okay, so again, that's how that works. But again, like I was saying, for those lower ranks, you're going to cap out those ranks a lot shorter than when you're in the more senior ranks, such as myself, because we have the ability to stay in for a lot longer than those guys who are under E5 and below. I think an E5 right now, according to the pay chart, can only stay in for 12 years before they've reached that max amount of time in that rank, and they're either forced out of the Marine Corps because they're not getting promoted, or their pay is just not going to, or their pay is no longer going to increase over time. So the higher the rank you are, the more you get paid. The longer you've been in the military, the more you get paid. So it's almost like a, like a graph that's just like a linear graph that's increasing. So that's kind of how pay works. Now, on that same note, if I'm an E7 and I get demoted, right, I lose rank, I also lose pay as well. I don't keep that pay. Now, if I'm an E7 and I got demoted, right, I'm gonna get paid as an E6 at that 14-year mark. Okay, so I'm still gonna get paid at the same amount of year mark, but I'm just gonna get paid substantially less because now I'm an E6 instead of an E7. And it's, if I'm an E8 at 14 years, I get paid more than E7, etc. So that, again, that's how pay works here in the military. Now, the next thing is, how often do we get paid? We get paid every 2 weeks. Okay, so on the 1st and 15th of every single month, we're gonna get paid. And I say every single month, literally every single month. It doesn't matter if there's a recession, a pandemic, the sky is falling, the world is ending, whatever's going on, you are always going to get paid. You are guaranteed to get paid. And I actually have a great example for that too. I enlisted back in 2008 during the recession, where unfortunately a lot of people, they lost their jobs, they lost their life savings, they went broke. Like, it was terrible at that time. People were getting laid off, they weren't getting paid. Like, it was just an awful time for those who remember. Well, being in the military, despite what was going outside or what was going on in the civilian world, we still got paid no matter what. I never missed a paycheck in the last 14 years, no matter what. And let's just say, hypothetically, again, this is just hypothetical, this would never happen, but let's say the government decided to not pay us. Hey, you know what? We can't pay you for whatever reason. Whatever banking institution you're with is gonna front you the money. They're gonna pay you because they know the government is good for the money. How do I know this? I bank with Navy Federal. Navy Federal sent us a letter back in 2008 saying, in the unlikely event that the Department of Defense does not pay you, we will continue to pay you as normal, to where you do not see a lapse in payment. And they, put a nice little letter, etc. So that just goes to show being in the military has its perks, and that is guaranteed pay as well every 2 weeks on the 1st and 15th. And then with some banks, you might get paid a couple days earlier. Like, I think Navy Federal has like a 2-day early deposit, and then like Bank of America, it might be a day later or whatever. But it doesn't matter, every 2 weeks. Now, let's talk about the important things, and that is, how do I get paid more in the military? Because you're gonna get paid no matter what. Being in the military, you're gonna get paid regardless of what rank you are, how long you've been in. Like, you're gonna get paid no matter what. But everybody wants to know, how do I get paid more? Now, obviously, right, stating the obvious, the more rank you get, the more you're gonna get paid, right? But let's just say, for example, I'm an E9 and I've just maxed out the pay rate, the pay scale, and I'm just gonna get paid the same amount every single year, no matter what. How do I continue to get paid more? Well, there's a few different ways to do that. One is being on a special duty assignment or an SDA. An SDA is recruiting duties such as myself, drill instructors, combat instructors, MSG, embassy duty, things like that. Those Marines get paid a special duty pay in addition to their actual base pay, because they're doing something outside of their MOS, so therefore they're going to get paid more. Other ways to get paid more are your languages, okay? You can get paid, if you didn't know this, you can get paid for speaking an additional language in the Marine Corps, including Spanish. No one believes that, but even if you speak Spanish, you have the ability to get paid more by speaking languages. And I think the Marine Corps pays a couple $100 per language that you speak until you reach the cap of like $1,000 or like $1,500. It's actually a pretty decent amount of money, but as always, there are limitations, there are constraints, etc. Because just because you speak the language, let's say I speak Spanish and French and Russian and Pashto, all these great languages, if I'm not using it in my day-to-day activities as a Marine and my day-to-day duties, the Marine Corps is not going to compensate or pay me for that because I'm not using it. Whereas, let's say I'm deployed to Afghanistan and I speak Pashto, right, the local language there, or Arabic or whatever, and I'm actively using it in my day-to-day interactions as a Marine, the Marine Corps is going to pay me for that because that's when I'm actually using it. So Can you get paid for speaking additional languages? Yes, you can. Will you get paid for speaking for another language? That depends on where you're at, your command, things like that, but it is possible. Next, we have things such as your devices, right? Your jump wings, your dive bubbles and whatnot. You get paid extra for going to those schools and having those, those devices on your uniform, but as always, there are constraints. So typically you see jump wings and dive bubbles on recon Marines, on Raiders / MARSOC, etc. You typically don't see those on people who are outside of those, MOSs, but there are instances where I can be a, com Marine, which I am, be attached to a recon unit and have the ability to go to jump school and earn my jump wings. And if I do, and I'm attached to that unit and I'm using that, using those wings appropriately, I can get compensated and paid for it while I'm at that unit. But let's say I'm attached to a recon unit and I go to Fort Benning and I get my jump wings, and as I'm in that recon unit, I'm getting paid for it. That's cool. But then let's say I go to a comm unit or to another unit, the Marine Corps is not going to pay me anymore for having these jump wings because I'm not using it. So hopefully that makes sense. If you're using it, you get paid for it. If you're not using it, the Marine Corps is not going to pay you for it because, again, then now they're wasting money, etc. So those are some of the main ways that you can get paid. But now here is the biggest one, and before I even say this, just hear me out, guys. Do not do this for the money, okay? And if you're in the military, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about, but do not do it for the money. It is not worth it. But trust me, I've seen it time and time again. People do it for the money, it ends up, terrible. But that is getting married to get what is called basic allowance for housing, or BAH, okay? Now, depending on where you live and your duty station zip code, the BAH can be $3,500 to $4,000 extra a month. And if I said, hey, I'm gonna give you an extra $3,500 a month on top of your pay, on top of your regular pay, you'd be like, hell yeah, man, let's go. But there are a couple of things with that. It is based off your duty station zip code. So Camp Pendleton, California, is in San Diego County. They are going to earn more BAH than another Marine being stationed in 29 Palms. So here, I think for an E7, last time I checked, I think it's like $3,500 a month that I would get for BAH as an E7. But in E6, E5, E4 is going to earn less money per month in BAH, and people who are higher ranks will earn more, officers will earn more, etc. Now, there is a thing that's called BAH own right, which means you can be single and still get BAH, but there are certain, stipulations that you must meet. There's a whole bunch of constraints that you must meet and qualify for, basically, to earn that. Just because you're single and you apply for it doesn't mean you're gonna get it. But I have seen people who are single that have lived out in town who do get BAH, etc. So, for example, on recruiting duty, if I was single here on recruiting duty, I would rate BAH because I am on recruiting duty, I'm on a special duty assignment, etc. If you are single and you're an E6 and above, you automatically rate BAH. If you're an E5 and below, you do not, unless you're on a special duty assignment or unless you meet those certain, stipulations that are already in place for that. But again, there are ways to do it, but don't do it for the money, guys. Can't stress that enough. Don't do it for the money. Anyways, that's BAH. Now, if you're stationed overseas in Hawaii or Japan for the Marine Corps, you can also get something that's called COLA, or cost of living allowance. That means the Marine Corps is going to pay you even more money based off where you live, because it costs a lot of money to live in Hawaii, right? Food and groceries and rent and whatnot is a lot more expensive than it is here in the States. Same for Japan. It costs a lot more money to live in Japan than it does here in the States. So because of that, the Marine Corps recognizes that, and the military as a whole recognizes that, and they're going to compensate and pay you more for that as well. So you can get COLA on top of your BAH, on top of your regular pay, on top of your language and special duty assignments. So you can get a ton of money per month being in the military in general. It just depends on how valuable are you. Do you know languages? Are you on the special duty assignment? Are you doing these things to rate this extra money? But let's say you're not getting promoted. Let's say you're not on a special duty assignment. Let's say you are not married, you don't rate BAH, you don't rate COLA, you don't rate anything. Does that mean you're not going to get any increases every year? No, because Congress gives the entire military an annual pay increase every single year, no matter what rank you are, no matter what. So at a bare minimum, you will continue to get yearly pay increases every single year. Now that depends on, Congress and inflation and whatnot. I think this year for 2022, it was 2.7% next year going into 2023, because inflation's through the roof, and gallon gas right now is $6.99 in California, which is absolutely ridiculous. The Marine Corps is Congress is going to pay the military more because they know the cost of living is increasing. So those are ways to get paid, guys. I know it's a ton of information to consume right now, but I wanted to go more in depth because a lot of things that I went over, most people don't know. So hopefully you guys learned something today. Hopefully you guys are still with me right now. And if you are, consider subscribing. Drop a like. Leave me a comment. What was your favorite part? What was your least favorite part? Are you getting paid in additional ways I didn't cover? If you are, let me know down below so I can include them in the next video, or I can just include them in the comments for other people to see as well. Guys, thank you so much for being with me, for watching this video, for supporting, being a subscriber, etc. I really do appreciate it. I really love the community that I'm helping foster and create by sharing educational videos and just putting information out there that's unfortunately not that common. So with that, guys, share this with somebody you love. Share this with somebody that could benefit from this. And as always, guys, I really appreciate it. Until next time.